I am a PhD student in the Theater and Dance Department here, one of the facilitators of today's production of IYA, the Esalen Remember. I'd like to remind you to turn off your cell phones for this production. Feel free to move on down closer to the stage if you'd like. Today, after the first, I'd like to acknowledge that the Kumeyaay people are the traditional caretakers of the land and surrounding ecoscape on which UC San Diego is built, the unceded territory where we live, work, and play. We work here mindful and in support of the indigenous peoples in this place, past, present, and emerging. We know we are guests on stolen land, and we support indigenous and native land back movements that aim to return political and economic control to the rightful caretakers over land that has historically belonged to them prior to colonization. I'd like to remind you that after the production today, which runs about 2 hours with a 15-minute intermission, we will have a talk back with the creators of the play. We have our tribal chairwoman of the Ohlone, Costanoan Esalen Nation, Louise Miranda Ramirez, as well as our playwright and one of our actors, Chago Juarez of Backton 12, and they will be talking about the story behind the creation of this powerful play. So I'd like to bring on Louise Miranda Ramirez, the tribal chairwoman of the Ohlone Costanoan Esalen Nation, to welcome you to today's performance. Sit close to the mic.
Hila panamikalai iwanomatsa kumiai evehe. Nishma piol kitu kanamsha masana tahawipizi. Atsia pami amichak pasamuatas. Efehehetan Ohlone Costanoan Esalen Nation. Efehehetan, the greater Monterey Bay Area. I said, welcome to the homeland of the Kumeyaay people. My name is Louise Miranda Ramirez. I am the tribal chairwoman for Ohlone Costanoan Esalen Nation. We come today happy and proud that this play has taken on its life here in San Diego, and that we have the support of the students of this campus, and it's important to us to know that they stepped up and volunteered. And so on behalf of my tribe, my vice chairwoman Christy, right there, area, and a council member Pauline, we have decided to give the students that are volunteering here today $100 each, so that you guys, in our way to say thank you, you know, because you really put a lot into this. And we really appreciate it bringing life. So after this is over and we see you over there before the next show, we'll give you something and as a thank you. So again, I don't know if you've seen the play before. It brings in a lot of life experiences that seemed quite boring most of the time when I think about what they are, and they usually make me angry. And then I have Chago calling me up and saying, what happened today? And then he writes it down and makes it sound really good. So that's Chago, and we have a lot of thank you for that. And I also have Dr. Melissa Leo, Esalen tribal member here. Stand up. So we're, and the music, a lot of the music you'll be listening to by Jordan Casares and Danielle C., both Esalen tribal members. I don't want to take any longer, but we have Jovita, Javier, Amanda, all came with us from my area and our homeland area, and let's move on. Let's go. Yeah, this is a hard part, getting down. Thank you. Don't get old.
Thank you, and please enjoy. enjoy Ia the Esalen Remember.
This is the story
of how we were created.
Curtain.
The flooding begins.
Eagle,
Hummingbird and coyote
All
take to the top of Watigi.
Attempting to escape
the waters that were devouring
Everything around them.
But Hummingbird and Coyote can't keep up with Eagle, so Eagle swoops right back down, picking them both up and flying off to the peak of the
Chickasipsha.
where they would remain safe. Later, Eagle spoke up and told the Coyote.
Coyote, go down and make sure the land is dry.
Coyote inspected the valley as the waters receded back into the bay, coming across a beautiful young woman near a strong and thriving river.
Selekiatsa.
Salekiatsa,
I'm Coyote. What is your name?
Tanok,
Loliki.
Coyote returns and reports back to Eagle.
I met a woman
Where?
by the river. Her name is Tanok.
Good, you will make her your wife.
My wife?
Take this abalone shovel and begin.
Begin what?
Begin making babies and raising the people all over again.
How?
Eagle wanted to see Coyote answer his own question.
Right here, out of my elbow.
No.
Here, out of my knee.
Eagle was unamused and very concerned.
From the back of my neck.
Your neck?
My eyebrows.
Coyote's attempts caught Hummingbird's attention.
Your eyebrows? You're gonna make people out of your eyebrows? Oh, come on, Coyote. Everybody knows that the best place to make people is right here, right in the belly.
Nobody's asking you, Hummingbird.
Upset, Coyote swiped at Hummingbird with his claws, causing Eagle to raise her wing to protect Hummingbird.
Leave it alone, Coyote. Go and marry the girl.
And with that order, Coyote returned to Tanok, shared the Eagle's call for their union, and proposed to her. She said yes, and together they would make the people who would live, love, and care for that which gives them all life and purpose, their Mother Earth.
Asiamatsa.
But before that could happen, Coyote is attacked by a mob of Wokehawi.
Please! Tanak! Please, help get these fleas off of me!
there's so many of them and they're so small.
Well then just eat them!
Eat them?
Ampalachi?
Yes!
Right then and there, Tanok leaps onto Coyote and begins eating the fleas right off his back. Days after Tanok saves the Coyote, she discovers that the eating of the Wokehawi has made her pregnant.
Salamaki?
When the birth of their child finally takes place, Coyote joyously celebrates their newborn.
Eagle, Hummingbird, look, our baby.
Pana.
Congratulations, Tanok. Coyote?
Loliki.
The birth of their child brought new life, but then suddenly, Tanok was overcome with an incredible fear.
What is it?
I'm afraid.
Enikialpa.
Afraid? Afraid of what?
No.
Tanok's fear was so strong, it drove her to run directly into a field of thorn bushes.
Yapumin!
Coyote ran after her, crying out at the top of his lungs.
Don't pass through that brush!
Coyote immediately runs after her, fast enough to catch up to, but still unable to stop her.
She kept running!
So Coyote ran even faster, so he'd be able to at least clear the road ahead of her, enough so she may pass through, only to declare,
I'm not used to taking roads.
Coyote increases his speed even more so as to quickly collect flowers and place them on both sides of the road so she'd be able to stop and pick them up. But instead she cries out that she's
Not used to walking between flowers.
Coyote became so frustrated he yelled out,
There are no remedies, no medicine.
To keep her from leaving.
Coyote kept chasing after her, and when he finally got close, she threw herself into the ocean.
Kimila.
Coyote desperately reached out to pull her back onto the land as a great wave came crashing between them both. The tide's forces were too strong for Coyote to withstand as Tanakh surrendered her body to the world of the salt waters, transforming into
The
Wow.
Nishefele kalai le iwano matsa let kalai kominan let kalai.
My mother, Atsia, would sing that song to me growing up, and then later to my younger relatives. There was my niece, Ula Masana. She was awesome, and her spirits were so full of fire. My cool and funny nephew, Ta'apisi, the finder, who found out on his own different ways to stay positive. And Machkas, the coyote, smart, but at the same time had the hardest time understanding who he was and who he needed to be, whether he was sober or not. And then there was my mom, Atsia, our eagle, my protector. Now, I may not be directly related to these three kiddos, but I was and will always be their auntie Umu, their Mechi Umu. Ike? Understood? Okay, cool. Because, well, yeah, we are all family. Oh, wow. That was 1996, our first Survivor's Supper. Okay, you guys ready? Hey.
Yeah. Why are we doing this again?
Because it's a part of the show.
What show?
The Thanksgiving show?
It's not Thanksgiving anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. What is it again?
Survivor Supper.
Super Survivor Supper.
Hoo-wah!
We're done with Thanksgiving because you guys are going to decolonize it.
That's right. We're going to decolorize it.
Decolonize.
That's what I said.
We're still having turkey though, right?
Yes, Ta'apizi, we're still having turkey.
Kiliwa?
That special bread Atsia makes.
With that special bread with that
Acorn spread.
Palazza.
Love me that acorn spread on that special bread. I love it, I love it, I love it.
And we love Auntie Umu.
Yay!
And that's why we don't celebrate Thanksgiving anymore, huh?
No, it's all about that Survivor Supper.
What?
Because Auntie Umu's a survivor.
I thought we were all survivors.
You are. And you know what that means?
Kiake.
It means you all have a responsibility to tell our story.
I'm Becky.
The one about how we were made?
That's the one. And you're going to tell it in the form of a play.
Like a theater play?
Yes,
Why?
because it's ours.
And nobody's gonna tell it but us.
Me too.
Of course, you two. You'll all play a part.
Who am I playing?
The coyote,
And me?
the hakao, the woman, the coyote's wife.
Ew.
Coyote marries the woman?
That's how the story goes.
So like, coyotes are like men?
I don't want to marry him.
Now I want to marry you.
Ooh la la, can I be your best man? I now pronounce Machkas and Ula Masana, man and wife. Ha ha ha!
Not funny, Ta'apisi.
Why do we have to do this play?
so that others can learn who you are and where your people are from.
We're from here.
The Estlin.
The Rock.
Huelo, Honya, e Une. Okay, I'll marry him, but I'm not gonna be a bride.
Got it. No bride, just get married, okay?
Auntie?
You okay, Auntie?
Auntie, who needs our help?
Chill, y'all. I'm cool. Okay, back to the play.
So who am I gonna play?
The hummingbird.
Aw, you're just a tiny little bird.
Why do I gotta be the hummingbird?
You'll see.
You might as well just be a fly.
Leave Machkas alone. Ta'apizi's dad was born in the state of Michoacan, Mexico, but grew up here without papers. And when Ta'apizi was a baby, his dad got into some trouble and he was deported. That was really hard for him, so I made sure that he'd always see the connection. You're the hummingbird because its heart is so strong that it moves like a shooting star, stops in mid-flight, goes in reverse, hovers and surveys the surroundings, and then keeps going. And you travel with the winds from north to south.
Like Mexico South?
Right, like where's your dad from?
Mexico.
And where does hummingbird fly to this time of year?
Mexico!
So they're kind of like from both places, yeah?
Yeah!
Kind of like you, right?
Right!
Sweet. So what do you think?
Yeah! Let's do it!
All right, cool. Atsia!
Someone calling me?
Yes!
So, I've been hearing you from the kitchen, and it sounds like you're all getting ready to tell our story.
Almost, but before we go there, we were hoping you could help us get started with one of our favorite songs.
The Blind Man song.
That's my favorite!
I think I can help you out with that. Let's see. Pino Watina Totek, 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 Hulin neni hulin hatalai pamikanai Matiane hatanatia makalana asana maknoko atia womun Uluhi pamikael pamus manu misla yaya hantanteski Unu ikimila atsiniti Nekumawiti amu atadot mepel hatana masana katapamoko lakomohokinwa sana otwa sana sumpa lali hesita makapa asalkital alpakpas ewa imichano apskula yishi hanonicha Letetel pakolo huniki koloma alinsan peki atiamasianen el pamus.
Time returned from here to stay. Heart of mother, salt water breath, Atsia's wing, talent to care, for mass of flesh her ocean rests. The singing star nets, bodies of spirit, crowned and drowned, heaven's tears flood. Old pain, fresh prayers, memory into stairs, our law is love. and her love unbroken. Mother's heart, now spoken.
Hey, what's happening? Nah, I'm a little late, but things are moving here. There's a crew here, and they're operating a bulldozer. Me? Work tomorrow? Hell yeah! That machaipa pay will come in handy for sure. Turkey tournaments? No. It's all about that survivor supper, brother. You know how we do it. Going straight over to Atia's after work. Yeah, and that tradition we started back when Auntie Yumu was. Huh? Yeah, Atia's daughter. Of course, turkey, kiliwa, ham, potatoes, best stuffing in the world, fool, with that gravy, and then the special bread with that acorn spread. Well, the way we make it, it's delish, all right. Hold! Hey, what the? Hey, what's going on here, boss?
Think we hit something. Shit, man. Gotta call the coroner.
Hey, wait!
You know, this is like the fourth time since this whole pandemic bullshit, man.
Hey, I said wait. Is that okay? Sorry, boss. I didn't mean to, let me call the coroner.
Why you?
Because I'm the cultural monitor, and I am here to protect our ancestors.
Go ahead.
Yes, hello? Yeah. Sure, I'll hold. Hey, can you set up a line here, like 50 meters back from the spots, so folks can know that that there's a disturbance here?
Sure. No problem. All right, guys, let's get a line set up 50 meters back from this, cultural site.
Yes, I'm calling to report an ancestor. I mean a body. I mean the skeletal remains of... Can't tell. Native. Yeah, I believe the remains are Native American. Yes. How old? Old. All right then. I'll see y'all within the next 24 hours. All right. Thanks. Las, Otno, Ayam, Tihawi, Name.
Hey, how's that line, Chief?
What'd you call me?
Mr. Monitor, sir.
Cultural monitor to you. And yeah, that'll be it.
All right, guys, we're gonna have to shut it down again. And, do you guys always pray every time you find bones?
What do you mean, you guys? You're the ones doing the disturbing. I mean, if someone was digging up your ancestors' graves, wouldn't you pray?
I guess I don't.
Especially if it's your first time witnessing something like this. You smoke?
Yeah.
Here, would you mind taking this off my hands?
Hell no, I don't mind. But man, why are you giving me your?
I need to prioritize the ancestors, and mixing medicines does not work.
Sounds like you're overcompensating, man.
It sounds like you don't want to help me out with this.
Sounds like I should take my comment back and shit. If you need me, I'll be in my trailer.
Hey, yeah, yup, ancestors. I know, I'm gonna call her right now. Later. Hooah!
Why now? Why me? Great discovery, my ass.
Hey, not a discovery. It's a disturbance. They've always been here. Remember, we talked about this.
Yes, I remember. How old did you say those bones were again?
IYA, ancestors, Los Elchwe.
Ancestors. How old are they again?
About 4,000 years-ish.
Wow. Oh, crap.
Hey, what did I say?
Cultural awareness is good for business.
Yeah, believe that, please, okay? We have some very important people all ready to back us up all the way to the bank with this one. But if at the end of the day, this woman wants to make things a hell of a lot more challenging for us, then she could do so without any hesitation.
Are you speaking from experience?
It's what you're paying me for, right? And she could give a rat's ass about some ag tech startup, especially if you're from outside of the homeland.
Oh, come on. Really now, tonto?
Really, cracker? And don't ever fucking call me that again, all right?
It's a joke.
And you're the only one laughing.
Well, the rest of the team, they all thought it was quite funny.
Because the rest of the team's afraid of you. So of course they're gonna laugh at your lame anti-indigenous jokes.
Listen, we all know you can make things move in these restrictive conditions. So you bet I'm going to appreciate you for what you do. And I show my appreciation by not taking offense.
To me regulating your white privilege?
Something like that.
Hey, we'll be back on schedule after this weekend.
Monday?
The latest.
Thank you.
Say it like you mean it.
I did.
Now, please, tell me, why are we setting up shop in the Salinas Valley when we can easily handle it virtually from the Silicon Valley?
Listen, I don't have time to justify our paranoid claims of hypergentrification, all right? I'm just hoping that my 74 Cherokee will help get your mind off this historical trauma. At least while you're on the mission.
Mission? Wow, you're scoring pretty high on the tone deaf meter there, buddy.
She took us all the way to the Appalachians last year.
Oh, you returned the Cherokee back to their homeland, huh?
Homeland?
Appalachia, that's where... Forget it.
Oh, speaking of forgetting things, I forgot to tell you. We've made arrangements for the exemption. So whoever you have to communicate this to...
Whoever I have to... Want you listening to me? This person is someone to reckon with. She takes no deals, all right? And if a construction worker comes across bones...
Ancestors?
Ancestors, yes. All right, see, you're learning. Listen, if they, the coroner's office, identifies what it is, exemption is ruled out. But that doesn't even matter because they already have a cultural monitor on site.
Where the fuck did they get an Indiana Jones expert?
Indy. Oh, man. They're monitors from the tribe. Damn, just when I thought you were making strides. Hey, what did I say was good for business?
Cultural awareness.
Make it your mantra.
I will. Oh, hey, I left you something in the glove compartment.
Esalen Institute?
For all your hard work.
Calling you out on your privilege alone is hard work.
And that always be work for you to do.
You seriously shouldn't have.
It's considered to be a world-renowned
Healing sanctuary.
A celebrities and dignitaries kind of place.
I know what kind of place this is. And if you don't say anything, I won't say anything.
Embrace it, Matt. Celebrate the future. Because tech's moving in and ag's throwing the party. Happy tea day.
Alright, what's up, family? Welcome everybody from the Bay Area and beyond to this special night before on Thanksgiving Day sleepover. Right, everybody ready for that pre-dawn boat ride out to Alcatraz? Okay, cool. Because in a few hours, we'll be with more relatives, praying, celebrating, and remembering what our ancestors sacrificed for and what our families are struggling with today. So we like to acknowledge and thank those who came here tested, vaxxed, masked, and I love your beadwork on that mask. Okay, you all look good and ready to commemorate what our elders were brave enough to do over 50 years ago. And thanks are always in order for those who sacrificed so much to reclaim that rock, for the Ohlone of this land, for our water protectors, for the thousands of children that are taken and buried in unmarked graves, and the blood that continues to be shed upon Turtle Island. All right, I'm gonna shut up now and introduce our next guest, who came all the way from Seattle.
Originally from the Ensign.
Ensign, and that's in...
Salinas.
Really?
Esalen, bruh.
All right, original native from the Bay. Everybody give it up for Ula Masana.
Mimasia ne el pasaleki, thank you. It's an honor to be here with you all and celebrate this year's Thanksgiving ceremony, this decolonizers dinner. You know, my family took this racist celebration and called it Survivor's Supper for some pretty obvious reasons, right? And yeah, we're definitely all survivors, but it was always extra special for me and my family folk, you know? Still, it's been a while since I've had a plate. Anyways, here's something for the occasion. Give it up for the winners, all American killers, breaking all-time records, co-opting messiahs and shepherds, breaking land, innocence, promises and treaties, breaking word, health, respect for families, breaking culture, ways, and this here humanity, jacking Atsia blood for that money love. Their pipelines leak and start poisoning her flesh, her soil. They've been drunk with privilege like deplorable. 45 orange boil, snake treads, bite and recoil. Insurrection dope dreams off aluminum foil. When the autopsy reports they found her, knees bloodied, hands buried, hearts carried, the faces of sisters missing, the faces of daughters murdered by products of systems that came to kill culture while trying to pimp nature, putting price tags on it with barcodes washing out residual hope of indigenous sons hanging from oak trees whispering screams from past and present centuries like this when they pissed on our graves and they whipped us with open arms as they opened arms on you, me, tribe deep, tax paid, genocides feed. When someone's father's greatest grandfather fed his doctrines of discovery, perverting the reality of beauty of me, Sholeta, two-spirit to Ula Masana, busted by borderlands, hung cut by the conquered and cut by divide. All their demons dream we'd hide or die for their land grab, their backstab, their fences forced up by false flags, driving under the influence of power of a Royal Highway 101 lonely prison tower, disrobing cash courtrooms outside of Kashawa, with the nail fight Jesus nailed to a broken truth, crossing us out from family in the south, Tahano Neku Sufuno, couldn't convert us all, Momoyakalpa Atsia, couldn't remove us all, Momoyakalpa Atsia, couldn't kill us all, Momoyakalpa Atsia, could never know this love for our mother rock, Momoyakalpa Atsia, Hua.
Hua.
What do you want?
Well, good evening to you too, Atsia.
If you can call it that.
Getting ready for tomorrow?
I should be, but I gotta get another LOI out to the state first.
There's been another disturbance.
Kia?
My side, Nashagwa and Monty.
Did they call the coroner?
Yeah, I did.
Are you high?
Am I... Excuse me?
Don't gotta lie.
I was, but now I'm not.
Are you coming to supper tomorrow?
Yeah, right after work.
And what time are you showing up?
Should be at your place around.
What? At work? What time are you showing up to your work site tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. Construction workers were scheduled to work the holiday, but now that we got... They were scheduled to come in at 9.
I'll see you at 8:30.
8:30? That's not too early?
It's just enough time for me to get back here and prepare for supper. That's what that is. It's 25 years this year.
Since?
Yeah. Invite your lady friend and her kid to come over.
Yeah, her daughter's school had a little outbreak this week, so they're not going anywhere.
Well, you could take some food home to them.
I'll do that. Thanks.
And,
Yeah?
don't come stoned.
Understood? I will bring an appetite. That's what I'll do. I guarantee you.
Huh. Hey, I found a picture of you and Ula Masana.
Ula?
Yeah, and Machkas.
Machaipa?
Yeah, the three of you. And Umanipsha.
Auntie Umu?
Survivor Supper, 1996. Text it to you?
Yes, please.
There it goes.
Send it to those two as well, yeah?
I only have Ulla's Facebook. Do you have your cousin Machkas?
Nah, but I know where to find them.
Good. So, where and when am I seeing you tomorrow?
8:30, Nashawa and Monty.
Whoa.
Wow.
Trip.
Survivor Supper.
1996.
Pinawati na totek, 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 Pinawati na totek.
She's the MLD, right?
Yeah. And the tribal chairwoman.
Oh, I knew that. She was a chairwoman back when I used to help.
When?
Right after college.
You were a monitor?
Yeah. Hey, she hasn't mellowed out by any chance, has she?
Nope. Hell no. Morning. How you doing?
Morning, Ta'a.
Look who's here.
Machkas? Machaipa? Well, 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 look at you, Mr. Professional.
Hello, Atia.
Here for the ancestors, aren't ya? I see pictures of you on the internet, all suit and tie and professional and everything. Looking like a funeral director in some of those pics.
So, you work for this company, huh?
Yeah, Golden State Domain.
They sent him here to analyze and assess.
They knew you were Esalen?
They know I'm native.
Where are the ancestors?
Right over here.
Were they using a bulldozer?
Yeah, it was all I saw them use.
Didn't they do a sample of the dirt before breaking ground?
One was ordered.
But did it happen?
Construction began before the agency got the results.
Because that would cost money, right? Or time.
It happened.
What
you know?
happens?
Snag. The order just didn't make it in on time.
Because that's what time is to your people. Feels like they always have more of this than this, right? Huh. Until they step into something that's going to require more from them. And then there they go, cutting corners around our sacred sites just to cover their asses while keeping us out.
So, you get my invite? To Atsias for Survivor Supper, since, you know, you're one of the last survivors.
You invited him?
You said I could invite anyone.
I don't think she wants me there.
Wrong. Remember? He was the one who came up with the name. Of course I want you there. As long as you're
My contractors require it.
contractors, huh? This is gonna be fun.
She's not done with you yet, bro.
Come have Survivor Supper with us. I promise to yell at you.
I mean, where else you gonna go? Not much family around here anymore. Except for us.
Do you have the address?
It's already on my phone.
Of course. You have your whole life in there, huh? Well, can't wait to catch up with you some more later, Machkas. I gotta go over this guy's assessment and analysis. Oh, and Ula's coming too, right?
She accepted the invite.
Ula? Ula Manzana's gonna be there?
Yup. Turned out she was already going to the Alcatraz for the sunrise ceremony.
Makes for the perfect reunion.
25 years, Coyote! Trip, huh? Hey, Machkas.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for rolling with me.
No, thank you.
I never thought hanging out at Alcatraz Island, praying with native folk
At 4 in the morning.
at 4 in the morning would be so much fun.
And beautiful.
I'm glad you guys liked it. What now?
Well, now we nap, right? Then head over to our grandparents for some of that turkey work, yo.
I don't know. Dude, you're in the Bay and you're just going to be alone for Thanksgiving? Thanks taking.
Thanks taking, girl. We just.
Thanks taking! I'm thinking of going to see some family, but I don't know. Got a relative, well, not a direct relative, but someone I grew up with and later went to school with.
College?
Yeah, but for a real short time.
Ex?
No.
Weird.
Oh, yeah, and pretty challenging. Where's this at? Moss Landing. Where's that? The Monterey Bay. Oh, I only know this bay.
I don't know. Place sounds hella white.
It is, but it really isn't.
Got you. Be safe. Sorry, I almost forgot.
I totally kept telling her, don't forget your skirt. It's all good, y'all. Be safe.
All right, peace.
Hello. Hepna? How are you doing, baby boy? You eating? Taking care of your mom? How is she doing? Let me talk to her. Hey, babe. You still getting ready for supper? Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I'm scared. What would my auntie Umu say? The same thing you're saying. Okay. I'm gonna do this. Thanks, babe. Okay, I will. I love you too. Bye. Survivor supper. Tell me about it.
cool though. I thought I was gonna trip being a 30-something-year-old transfer student, but nah, I ain't tripping at all. I'm taking some pretty cool classes. Had this one instructor who reminded me of Auntie Umu. Hella tight.
Really? Wow, you know, when I was at Cal Poly,
But hella on point. Totally laced me up with the critiques on hegemony, patriarchy, heteronormativity.
all kinds of E's, huh?
I mean, all you can say is E. Especially after she broke down all the crits, like black crit, lat crit, Asian crit, queer crit.
Tribal crit?
Of course, tribal crit, which got me all fired up. I found myself on the shit list of this other instructor for this performance appreciation course I took. That professor straight up hated on my critique of the lariat.
What was that?
This opera we were assigned to check out.
Oh, you mean like a Madame Butterfly kind of opera?
Kind of, but Esslin.
An opera about our people?
Yup.
In Esalen?
Well, some of it was in Esslin, I think. Like a little bit. I didn't even see it in person. They only wanted to play it up in the city.
SF, not our country.
It's a loony! But what do they know? Plus, they charge all kinds of money for a ticket.
Hey, opera's not cheap.
Right. I mean, you don't gotta white explain it to me, machkas. But when I saw it on YouTube, I swear, I could only stomach 2 clips. They showed this mestizo dude, this padre dude, and an Esslin girl. California Mission love triangle. Padre Junipero Serra style. I mean, Saint Junipero.
Disturbing.
Right? Takes place around the Carmel Mission, while the whole time, colonizers are forcing Christianity on our people.
And they showed that?
What? The converting of the Esslin?
Yeah.
I only saw 2 clips. Like this one where this crazy padre, self-flagellating, all sprung on this Esslin girl, like, so restless, so sinful, please forgive me, mea culpa, mea culpa.
Tragic.
Extremely. It's like, how's that supposed to end, huh? I mean, I know how it's supposed to end. Look around.
And your other classes?
All good, except for this native archaeology course.
Oh, you took a native archaeology course, huh?
Well, yeah, but then I had to drop.
Why?
I'll tell you later.
Somebody get that?
It's open!
Hello?
Who? Hula?
That's Sia.
Oh, Sholeta, come here. Oh my God, look at you. Where have you been this whole time? Washington?
Been up in Seattle and, well, you know,
Is that Sugar?
it's him.
I'm looking so much like his mom. And why is this the first time I'm seeing you?
I'm sorry.
That's fine, Sholeta.
What up, Ula?
That's easy. Damn, how long's it been, yo?
Too long, yeah?
Hey,
Hey,
what's up, Machka?
Machepa.
Okay, food's ready. Gather around. PC, Machka, Masana, Umunipsha. Umunipsha? Umunipsha.
Auntie Umu.
Let Nimasia ne el pasaleki. Manu, Neme, Kolo, Umunipsha. Name slaha. Let Chilai mashapa. Laka manu. Aniki, let Toesa. Hal papa pami. Las otno ayam. Manu, sihi paisi. Aniki. Yuklaminaku. We thank you for your love, Umunipsha. You brought us here today, and for that we are grateful to Creator for making this possible. For all our relations struggling, doing their best to live a good life in this world, to recognize the beauty in what Creator has provided, to tell our story, to speak up for ourselves, and never forget. In your name, Umunipsha, we love you. Hua.
Hua.
Chiliampa.
First survivor supper with some OG survivors. Nothing like Nish Atsia Hamakshu to bring us together. I wonder if they could keep getting together like this every year. I'm sure my mom would really like that. Or at least entertain the thought.
So you all been keeping up Survivor Supper going on this whole time?
Well, you know, last year was virtual and that really sucked.
And I keep forgetting, who was it that came up with the name?
Machkas.
He wanted to honor his Auntie Umu.
It kept her spirits lifted.
And that kept you happy, right?
As long as I didn't have to see her suffering.
Because if she did, then she'd make them suffer.
Oh, you know, like that one time? Remember?
Yeah.
Excuse me, what's so hard about doing your job, huh? Picking up the phone, answering questions, taking messages, or finding something who actually knows what they're doing?
And even then, Auntie Umu was all like, it's okay, Mommy. They're seriously just doing their best.
And then Atia would come back with,
Their best? Is that what they call it? Because I call it
Sikutalo! Oh, man. And there we were, all quiet, awkward, man.
Until suddenly, out of nowhere, Auntie Umu would just bust out with that crazy old laugh of hers.
It was, oh my God, you should have seen my mom's face.
We all started busting up.
It was contagious.
You even laughed.
On the inside, Umunipsha was the only one who could ever do that.
Yeah, and what would she say? Laughter is the best medicine.
And family are the only ones.
That can write that prescription for survival. Survivor supper.
She had us laughing and learning.
Like learning how outreach for bone marrow donors was an opportunity
To meet more relatives.
And upside to all of it was a record we set for registering the most bone marrow donor matches for minorities under the Red Cross and the National
Bone
Marrow Program.
The most?
Mostly brown and black folks.
Everyone's got a little bit of Indian in them.
Especially white folks.
Cherokee.
Like your truck.
Not my truck.
Esselin, though?
Not enough of our blood or bone to go around. We're still endangered.
Right up there with the spotted owl. Tuhuki Tukunupsha.
Spotted out.
You know, I feel like Auntie Umu's right here with us.
She
Hamalechi.
She is, and I can hear her calling out things right now.
She was awesome like that.
I wish me and my cousins had someone like her when we were kids. She would have done something about those nuns from Sacred Heart who kept coming to our school every week, looking for just us Indian kids, the dark ones. My lighter-skinned cousins would just stand back and watch. Stay quiet. I tell you that shame is a real powerful weapon, especially at that age. Pass me the kiliwa.
Roosevelt Elementary, right?
Yep.
Acorn spread gets better every year, Atia.
Munchies kicking in to APC.
Told you I would bring an appetite.
Flavors bringing back memories.
It's Auntie Umu's favorite.
Hey, Machkas. That your Cherokee?
Belongs to my boss.
Must really like you if he lets you borrow his Cherokee.
That's a nice ride.
So, you got in last night?
Yeah.
Where'd you stay?
This little bed and breakfast right off the one.
Really? I would never consider Esalen Institute just a little bed and breakfast.
How did you know?
Esalen Institute? You stayed with all those rich, retired yippie boomers?
Did you see any colonial bros there?
There it is, folks.
Oh, what? Sigma Kappa man didn't see that coming?
Sigma Kappa? You were in a fraternity too? Damn, this spreads bomb.
Thought you gave me your business card, huh? So, who'd you see over there? Steve, Jane Fonda, Joan Baez? I tell you, seriously, they all love that place. Took me some time, though. At first, they tried to get me over there with something or other, and I just said, ha! As long as those people are making money off of our name, our identity, our ancestors, I'll have nothing to do with that place. Somebody told me they had really bad dreams there. Scary.
But you still went anyways, right?
Of course. And I learned a lot by watching those people do whatever it is they do there. What have you learned?
Speaking of learning, and I've always wanted to ask you, Atsia, but did we all have the same 4th grade teacher at one point or another?
Okay. Sorry, but when my mom was in the 4th grade and when I was in the 4th grade, they made us do that 4th grade mission history project. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay, that one. Yeah, well, by the time it came for these 3 to do their project, they were all 3rd generation Roosevelt Elementary School students of Esalen descent. And I thought, hey, this 4th grade mission history project should be done differently, right? Yes. Okay. It's funny, but not so funny. Though their 4th grade teacher not only happened to be my 4th grade teacher, but it also happened to be my mom's 4th grade teacher, Miss Frost.
Miss Satan Frost.
Oh, that woman tested us on all 21 missions, 18 saints, and 600-mile Camino Real. Nothing about us or our ancestors, though, just crosses, cannons, and colonizers. Still, I made sure to unteach all of that to your Auntie Umu.
And when it was our turn, Auntie Umu made sure that we would take that lesson to a whole other level.
Yeah, that was,
That was badass is what it was. Don't deny it.
I'm not denying it. I guess I just remember it way more differently than you.
We straight up decolonized that whole school. Especially those white boy 6th graders sitting in the front kept giving me dirty looks.
There were a lot of people in the audience. Parents, teachers.
And your Auntie Umu had you teaching them some truth, whether they were ready for it or not.
Yeah, they weren't ready. But are you? Okay, are you all ready to see their 4th grade mission history project? Okay, great. Check this out. It's fall 1996, and we're at Roosevelt Elementary School Auditorium. The place is packed, and these 3 were so cute, so excited. They had worked really hard on this. Oh, look, there's Miss Frost.
Ooh! Great, you and your tribe made it wonderful!
Thank you, Miss Frost, and thank you so much for letting them share their own lesson of the California mission history.
Oh no, thank you for teaching them this lesson.
So appreciative.
Are they ready?
Yes. All right, guys, so this is it. Ta'apisi,
Huh? Those boys are distracting me.
I need you here with us, okay?
There's a lot of people out there.
And they're here for you.
I guess.
Ta'apisi.
Sorry.
Okay, let's circle up and give thanks. Nimasian helpasaleki, las otno ayam. Thank you, Creator, for bringing us together to tell our story for all people. Manu huchupiisi, lechi pektin, pami ulmupa, lek alpa, manu kominan efehe. Hua.
Hooah!
Places, everyone, places! Here we go! Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the Mission History Project display put on by our 4th graders. They really captured what it was like to be one of the adventurous, courageous, and generous colonizers of this great state of ours. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. Come on, put your hands together. Now, as part of our special alternative lesson, tutored by a past student of mine, say hello to Umu Nipsha. Say hi, Umu.
Hi. Saleki Atsa.
Fun fact, I not only taught her, but I also taught her mother Atia as well. Is she here?
Oh, my mom, Atsia? Yes, she's right over there.
Oh, great. Oh, she still has that look in her eyes. Anyway, it just so happened that they are all local descendants of the local native tribe that benefited greatly from the love and charity of the great Franciscan himself, Padre Junipero Serra. Yes, your people blessed. Okay, well, without further ado, put your hands together for Machkas, Hula Masana, and Ta'apisi for their presentation of On a Mission.
Native California history. Why is that a mystery?
When we say let's go,
Y'all say back.
Let's go
Back.
Let's go back
To another day.
1770.
When they docked on our bay,
they took a look around.
And they would say,
declaramos esta tierra.
We declare this land
Nueva España
New Spain.
for our king,
Vuestro rey.
from the mountains and rivers.
Honia Neku.
Polomo,
La Casana.
And like good hosts,
Our people did the most.
Seleki Atsa, Laka, Hila Panamekalai, Pami Lek Iwano.
Captain Portola made this their post
so that Father Sarah can
Push the Holy Ghost.
They were on a mission.
to build their missions,
colonizing,
baptizing,
Controlling all conditions.
We must go. We must leave. They bring pain and make us bleed. Let momo netne, let momo yakalpa, lach, huchu, tamakapa, lakasi hapa, lechi, mahaiyu. The
Padre!
neophytes have escaped.
Yeah, my children.
Find them, apprehend them, and punish them.
But the soldiers did more.
Than what they were there for.
Christian soldiers.
not behaving Christian.
Telling them,
Please, could you kindly stop?
Abusing all the women and the children.
But the soldiers were like,
Why?
We're Christians.
We can be forgiven.
for all our sins.
Committed on this mission. Ha ha ha.
The Spanish military
was really super scary.
And out of control, putting us to work.
At San Carlos Borromeo.
But you all know it as
lovely Mission Carmel.
Oh, wow, a rapping story.
it's our story.
But there were times like
1783.
When the soldiers got,
Hella crazy.
Attacking and a killing,
our families.
it wasn't the first.
it wasn't the last.
But our ancestors weren't.
Going to let them pass.
You see, Miss Frost, I told you our ancestors fought back.
But then they took
The adults and kids,
Made them work and live.
in a house of God that you call missions.
But we say slave factories.
Our ancestors saw
The colonizers would not stop.
forcing some of us to say,
I guess we'll have to pray to your God.
Some would run,
And some would hide
losing culture and language.
to be Christianized.
Well, this was a
Our
great...
memory will set us free.
Native California history.
Why is that a mystery?
In
In
1818,
a defeat for the Spanish was in the making.
After so-called Argentine hero
Hippolyte de Bouchard,
AKA pirate.
like J.R. Cabrillo.
Supposedly the first to claim
Point Pinos.
When for thousands of years it was Ishenta to our peoples.
or when the Queen of England ordered her favorite pirate,
Sir Francis Drake to lay royal claim.
of our home as their domain.
Monterey was booted and looted.
For about 6 days.
an attack your people still celebrate.
In 1821,
Mexico beat Spain, they were done.
And this would be a great place to stop.
but after that they dropped their guns.
Oh, now seriously, I don't
Those
think
in
you should
charge
go.
kept cracking whips.
They kept coming by horseback and ships.
Sparking native uprisings.
From Baja to the Bay.
All along
The King's Highway.
The King's Highway is really Highway 101.
They know that already.
Are you sure?
In the name of la Iglesia Católica.
And the Gobierno Mexicano.
You all have to pay for your...
Treasonous pecados?
Why they do that? Why they do that? Why they do that?
Time to conclude this
But
presentation.
then they
Secularize the missions!
Each native family was going to get 33 acres of land.
Yay! When suddenly,
Sí, Lutalo!
it's the Americans, Machaipas.
breaking treaties.
From east to to west,
with declarations of independence,
Forgetting where it says
that we're all a bunch of
Merciless
Indian
savages.
And after winning an unfair fight with the
Mexicans.
They cheat them, beat them,
and didn't want to see them.
north
of the Rio Grande.
Then out of nowhere, gold!
Eureka!
Where?
Quick, sign the Treaty of Guadalupe plan.
Gold?
On whose land?
Enticing every single foreign miner.
These
49ers.
Now, we don't care if you've been praying here since birth.
Let's burn their sacred sites. They have no worth.
taking little of what was left
Of our food source.
Leaving nothing behind for you, fool.
Only for me, see?
God bless and manifest
our
destiny.
writing laws that made it legal to,
Push us off our land.
Indian kids became slaves.
After
Killing mom and dad.
This is enough!
Machaipa!
No, guys, let's keep it together. Then there were,
18 treaties.
the U.S. made,
With the tribes they tried to legislate.
with over 8 million acres.
Of this state.
But wait! The 18 treaties disappeared.
Oh my God!
like
Oh, so many of us that once were here.
Now that Miss Frost deserves an oh my God, what
What
do
do you
think?
think? Are you confused?
How a Christian nation
Can easily abuse.
The world of our
ancestors
ancestors.
to benefit the few.
This was the order
Of the red, white, and
blue. Taxpayers pay.
to make sure we were through.
25 cents a scalp.
And $5 a head.
And in no time at all,
Genocide.
80% of us were dead.
Making Mariposa
And
Monterey,
the two highest paid counties.
To wipe us off.
Governor Peter Burnett's
Golden State.
Oh, please heed my
But there is hope.
You're gonna like this part, Miss Frost.
A great white hope.
These nice white ladies.
from San
San
Jose.
Jose.
Dropping, what was that again?
White Savior Complex.
Dropping White Savior Complex.
For the NCIA.
The Northern California Indian Association.
Will not allow for this deplorable situation.
Enter.
Attorney Charles Kelsey Edwin Esquire,
NCIA Agent for Hire.
leading the secret recovery of the secret 18 treaties. Dunk, 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 dunk,
And when President Roosevelt
President Theodore Roosevelt, like as in Roosevelt School, wink, wink.
Visited San Ho.
he presented this memo.
the Northern California Indians' ownership to this land
Has never been extinguished.
Bam!
The Indian Appropriation Bill was signed.
Bam!
Hecka tribes got recognized.
Bam!
But tribes like us,
Pow! Got left in the dust.
Making
school,
City
county,
state
and federal recognition.
a must.
reminding you all
We are the true caretakers of this land.
the Esalen.
That's us.
Let's give it up for our Esalen youth! Yay!
Enough! Please, for the love of God and everything, only stop this anti-American tirade now!
We're not anti-American, we're pro-Esalen.
And that's racist!
Racist?
It can't be
Auntie Lulu
racist.
says we can't be racist because we don't have institutional power.
Institutional what?
And racist against who?
Against other people!
Other people?
white people, Machaipas.
But that's what Esalen means. People. We're pro-people.
You have no idea of the damage you've done! Matt, what?
He said Machaipa.
The one with the most hunger.
Machaipa, 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 Machaipa.
Hey, wait, don't! Mrs. Frost, we're sorry.
Let me
No, you sorry!
She's hurting him.
Auntie,
Let him go.
No, please. Mrs. Frost, it's just a play. Please, we meant no harm. It's supposed to be special. It was their story.
Wow. Forgot that even happened.
Forgot I was the only one who got suspended for that? And when I came back, all y'all could say to me was, Machaipa.
Hey, bro. You know what? I actually never said that behind your back. To your face, yeah. But never with those white boy 6th graders and never behind your back. And honestly, we only said that because of how funny that shit was when you got all crazy with Miss Frost saying, Machaipa, Machaipa.
You don't get it. We could have all been expelled.
So?
From elementary school?
For teaching a lesson that people would pay for in college?
Yeah. Where it's a hell of a lot more safer to learn than
You gotta be kidding me.
some 4th grade assembly. Where sharing your people's history gets you busted.
Auntie Umu always
Like a fucking animal!
taught us how to tell a story, something that said something about us.
She taught you our songs.
Yeah? Well, I can't remember any of that.
Because forgetting easily gets you off that damn hook, right? At least that's what you're thinking here. And what about here? And what about when you look at yourself in the mirror? I'll tell you, your boss in the Silicon Valley knows. Ready to cash in on the next gold rush. I tell you, all the big tech people know. The ag partners, the tech partners throwing $1 million parties at the expense of the taxpayers. Celebrating all the money they're going to be making off of our land.
For reals?
You see, that's the thing with you, Atzia. You choose to see what you want to see, and you're blind. You're blind to the potential opportunities that could ultimately benefit our people.
You call it opportunity. I call it selling out.
Get over it.
All right, bro.
Get over it?
Oh, shit.
Get over it.
Time out, cuz.
Where'd you learn to do that?
What?
To get over it, huh? Your frat brothers? Like that one fool, what's his name? Skylar? Bitch-ass Skylar? Oh my God, how could I forget? Dude totally steps to me with the best line ever. Y'all wanna hear it?
Do we have a...
Hey, Matt. What's up with that hot little squaw? You should have seen it. They were all dressed up as founding fathers, surrounded by a whole bunch of their trust fund homies, white boys playing colonial pimps, and white girls playing prostitute in red face. You shitted on everything Auntie Umu ever taught us, everything she ever taught me as a little girl. Halapa!
Happy Thanksgiving.
Machkas! Machkas! This dude!
Keep an eye on him, Top Easy. Don't let him out of your sight.
EK.
Are you okay?
Being around Mugboard always reminds me of Auntie Umu.
So, what happened at this party?
A colonial bros and that. I can't.
I get it.
Did you know Machkas and I were at Cal Poly together?
I knew he was. I didn't know anything about you, though.
That's because I never made it past the first semester. But long enough to figure some things out.
Like Machkas?
And other things, yeah.
Weren't you two coyote and wife? I'm sorry, couldn't help it.
First day of classes and there we were, taking the same native California history course. We hadn't seen each other since Auntie Umu passed, and there we were, like family again, but not.
And how was that?
Well, I mean, for the first few weeks, we studied together, hung out together, partied together. It was fun up until
Up until something happened?
a mistake was made and I couldn't speak to him after that. I chose not to.
At all?
Tonight was the first time in 16 years.
That's a long time. And what was this colonial bros thing?
a red-faced frat party. Exactly. Right after that mistake with Machkas happened, the Pi Sigma Kappa fraternity were hosting this bullshit racist party. So me and a bunch of other pissed off students, native, black, brown, white, we all headed over to this frat house, all fired up. We get there, and who do we see held up by his ankles doing a keg stand? Fucking George Washington Machkas. That was it. I had no place there. I dropped out. And you know, even though I was only enrolled for less than a semester, I knew in my heart that I learned more about myself than any other time then.
And what was that?
That I got power. Power to love and to be loved by my beautiful wife and my son, Shuker.
How old is he?
He just turned 15.
Wow. When's his birthday?
August 12th, 2006.
And mistake? That was...
How it happened. But Shuker was never that.
Of course not. Never. Never Shuker. Does he know who his father is?
He's never asked.
When are you going to register him with the nation?
How do I do that?
Send me his birth certificate and his social security, and we can go from there.
I will. Thank you, Atsia.
Six o'clock news on the TV, 5 o'clock shadow on your chin. I'm all alone waiting by a telephone, wondering will it ever ring again.
Here you go. Keep it open.
Please. All right, you ready?
Yeah, say when.
All right. Salud.
Cheers. So, like, when were you a monitor?
About 10 years ago, right out of college.
2009?
2000. Wow. Oh, that was 12 years ago. Hey.
How was that?
Oh, twisted AF, man. There was always something. Like this one time, we're at this one site, you know, and it's a private property, but it looks like it should be on the cover of Better Homes and Gardens. But the vibe is like
unhealthy?
Hell yeah. And Natia, though, she was in her element. I mean, right when we get there, you know, the owner of the property, you know, is all fired up, ready to pounce with whatever money they have to pay to get their way. And out of nowhere, he flips out, raises his voice and says,
"My family has been on this land for 150 years.
150 years? Man, that ain't shit.
I know.
And what Atsia do?
Oh, she was like,
150 years? Oh, wow. That's nothing compared to the 12,000 years our families have been here.
boom.
Nah. And what'd he say?
Oh, man, he couldn't say anything. They were all in shock that a woman, a native elder, would ever even think to come at a white, privileged guy like that with facts right there on the Achasta in front of everyone. Good. And so healing, man. I mean, like, that really felt good. Still, none of the Shaipas could say anything, right? Crickets.
Hey, was that one project where the owners insisted they had the right to dig into the earth as deep as they deemed fit?
All to build their dungeon, basement, whatever, is exactly where our ancestors lay. In violation of the agreements on sacred sites.
That reminds me of that one politician, the one that tries to be cool with Atia.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, the sometimes guy.
Yeah, the sometimes guy. Like this one time, the sometimes guy passed a resolution to raise the fees on violating those protections.
Yeah, I heard about that. He raised it to like, what, a $10,000 fee?
Yes. And right after they voted to approve it, this one woman cried out there in the county chambers in front of everybody.
Go ahead and raise the fee. I'll pay whatever it takes so long as I get what we came for.
Machaipa.
You know, it's tough seeing that kind of stuff go down. You want to believe people know what's up, and a lot of the times they do. Like when Atia blessed that Black Lives Matter march last year, and when she's presenting at these ethnic studies conferences, she goes all in and never holds back. And that's cool. Everyone's into it, you know? Solidarity. But when you see her in those other spaces with people who never been down for anything outside of their own interests,
People with power.
talking their talk, throwing their support crumbs here and there, but in the end, when it comes down to it,
She gets burned.
we get burned. She's just the first to take the hit.
Hey, man, earlier when I asked you about that, what you're doing with that field of study of yours,
Global studies?
yeah, I wasn't trying to condescend.
It's all good, bro. You're an asshole anyways.
It's not what I meant.
Yeah, but that's how I took it.
Sorry.
Don't trip. Besides, it ain't even happening anymore.
What?
School.
Why not?
Because of that class I was telling you about.
The native archaeology class?
Yeah. I had an issue
With what?
with the professor.
What'd you do?
I didn't do shit. It was him.
What'd he do?
Submitted the work we did under him as evidence to the Vatican in favor of his canonization of Padre Junipero Serra.
That was him?
Yup. Dude was like, the research you're doing for me in this class will be used to help me testify to the Vatican to prove the canonization of Father Junipero Serra.
Shut the fuck up.
And he kept going on with, you should be proud. You're all a big part of the history of the state, the church, the world. Some shit like that.
So you mean to tell me that the research you did for your class was to support your professor's position as an expert to have the holiness, the Bishop of Rome, the Vicar of Christ, the Supreme Pontiff make Father Serra a saint? Scandalous!
It's actually pretty fucking humiliating.
What'd you do? Did you confront him? Did you reveal your membership to the tribe? Did you use it as an opportunity to school your classmates and your professor that you're from the rock, homeboy? We're excellent. We've been here and we ain't going nowhere. What? Huh?
No.
Well, then what?
Well, then nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Nothing. No complaints, no protest, no nothing. I bounced, and I haven't gone back since.
You dropped out?
I took a short break for like a year, but then, eventually it turned into like 6 years.
So what did Atia say?
She doesn't even know, and she ain't gonna either. All right?
So you just been monitoring them?
Yeah, little side hustles here and there up until Atia felt I was ready she was ready to put me on. It's cool. I work alone, outdoors. Sometimes though, I hear people say monitors don't do shit. And I get kind of pissed because that doesn't help me or do anyone any good. Since you're not supposed to be tripping when we're working with the ancestors. We gotta do everything in a good way.
Ooh, Hey, if it were up to you, how would you do it? What? Rescue the ancestors. I mean, we both know that the process is more worth than it's worth. Every time remains are unearthed, they assign some top-notch lawyer to get in the middle of everything and prolong release.
Yeah, But if the feds recognize those remains as belonging to an unrecognized tribe like us, then it raises our chances of being recognized.
And is that a good thing? To leave our fate of our ancestors in the hands of the federal government so that we can finally get a piece of that recognized pie?
Well, that's what we've been fighting for.
We who? Atsia? Or the tribe? Huh? Yeah, I gotta take a leak.
Hey, Atsia? Yeah? No? Yeah? Oh, he's faded, all right. Excited, emotional, I guess. Huh? No, I'm driving. Yeah, I got the keys. Ah! Signutalo!
Looking for your friend?
Yeah, you know where he went?
Out the door. And he left you the bill.
Hey, we got a drunk coyote on the loose. I was. But somehow he got his keys back and went to the bathroom and took off. Yeah, I'm right here up at that bar up the street. Hey, is that you and Ula pulling in? Cool. I don't know where you went. Wait a minute, wait. I think I might have an idea. Okay, I'm coming out.
White man came across the sea, brought us pain and misery. He took our tribe, he took our greed, he took his game for his own need. Run through the hills. Hey, Tapisi, come on, join me. Run for your, huh?
I don't know that one. But hey, do you know this one? We didn't cross the borders crossed us! We didn't cross the the borders crossed us!
Hey, aren't those dudes Mexican?
Hey, aren't those dudes British?
Hey, man, whatever, huh? Salud!
Aha, come on, macho guys, kick back!
Hey, no, man. Got ancestors to save. Woo! Here we go.
Hotchkiss!
Huh?
Hotchkiss!
What the hell do you want?
For you to get away from there, now.
Why? I'm the property rep, and I got every right. All right?
You're drunk. You know better.
I'm decolonizing, and I'm saving the ancestors.
You're disrespecting our ancestors and breaking the goddamn law.
Because the goddamn law's been breaking us! Huh? Look what it's done to me! He's turned me into my shaipa! The white man! The one with the most hunger! Well, not after tonight. Tonight I'm gonna rescue the ancestors from being locked up for the rest of their afterlife.
And where are you taking her?
To the sacred site!
And you know where that is?
Of course I do. We buried an ancestor there before, with my auntie Umu. Remember? We were all there. Remember the song she sang? The abalone she wore? Remember the promise she made? Remember the promise we made to her? That we never forget who we are? Huh? Huh?
I remember.
Me too.
Yeah, of course you do. You all do. But since I forgot, I want to thank you. I want to thank you both, yeah? For helping me to remember. To return as a member of this family as Machkas, liberator of the ancestors. Quick, somebody write a song about me. Machkas came to rescue his ancestors. Machkas! Google Translate out into excellent, huh? Google Translator. Yeah, I'm gonna just doing this, huh? Come on. What? Alapa! Come on, Natia. Let me do this, huh? Please, Auntie, help me, Auntie. Help me stop them from building their bullshit basements. Help me stop those bullshit planning commissions. Help me shut them up when they call us non-local Indians. Help me. Help me to remember our language so we can teach it to our youth. Come on, yeah? Help me topple the statues of the fucking Inquisitor, Sarah! Auntie!
You'll never forget. You can't. None of us can. We all have to remember if we want to survive. That's why we're here. This is why your Auntie Umu brought you back. Ni shefe hele kalai le iwano matza le kalai kominan le kalai te karwai le chalai masha pale chalai e wahi mitano let la la chala le fe maui pai lai let maui lai let e wa mitano la la maui lai le fe me palai le me palai let e wa imitano la la me palai let cape que fe le cha eselen cha le cha eselen cha let kalai le cha let kalai le cha let iwamitano la la cha lai let kalai let kalai let kalai.
We are here. My people, we are here.
Our homeland, we are here.
Everyone, we are here.
Yesterday we lived here.
Today we live here.
Forever we will live here.
Our people sang here.
We sing here.
We will always sing here.
Our people danced here.
We dance here.
We will always dance here.
We are one people.
We live. Esalen lives.
We exist. Esalen exists.
We are here. We exist.
We are here. We exist.
We will always exist here. Lekalai, lekalai, lekalai.
Thank you so much for attending the show today. I'm going to invite up Luis Miranda Ramirez, as well as our playwright and actor, Chago Juarez. And we're going to have a little bit of a talk back. If you all want to move down, feel free to come a little closer to the stage. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing this, receiving this story and sharing this space with us. We have another performance tonight at 6:30 p.m., so we do hope you'll tell your friends to come on out. But you know, this work is so powerful, and we felt like it needed a little contextualizing. So I'm so happy to have Chairwoman Miranda Ramirez here, as well as our playwright and actor Chago Juarez from Backturn 12. And we have a lot of Backturn 12 folks here who've been very helpful putting this play on. And we also have a lot of folks from the Ohlone, Costano, and Esalen Nation here who have been our guides and our leaders throughout this process. So we're so thankful to have you all here. Louise, let's start with you. I would love for you to tell everyone a little bit about your role as tribal chairwoman. You've had a long history as a leader and activist. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how long you've been tribal chairwoman and what the role entails?
I've been the tribal chairwoman for 15 years. It started in 2006, fairly simple, not knowing any of the laws, just stepping into a position after a split in the tribe and after the lawsuit and a bunch of things happening and all people fighting, and I was asked if I would step in, and so I stepped in, and at that time it seemed fairly simple, just making contacts of talking about Esalen, letting people know that we were here, and that started to change in about 2015 when AB 52 passed, and that's an assembly bill that stated that even a non-recognized tribe could meet to consult with city, state, local governments and discuss cultural sites, protection of our ancestors, having our people on site. So it became more work, and it was a big fight because AB 52 started by Assemblyman Gatto here in Southern California, as well as an assemblyman from Monterey. And the assemblyman in Monterey, called the sometimes person in the play, wanted to remove the non-recognized tribes from that law and say that only federal recognized tribes could participate in the process of protecting our sacred site. So a lot of politics began by fighting him and writing letters, and one day I got a phone call and it said, "I thought we were friends." I said, "Yes, I thought so too." And that took a couple of years to even be able to say hi again. But in the long run, he backed out. He stopped, removed his name from that bill, and Gatto worked with Sacred Places Institute in accepting both non-recognized tribes and federally recognized tribes. Politics. Never think you're going to not be involved, because it happens.
So much of this play is about the work you do to rescue the ancestors. Can you tell us a little more about that? I know that there are quite a few ancestors at different universities right now, as well as some are disturbed at construction sites.
Correct. I mean, we don't know where our ancestors are buried. And you've got to remember, that's because it was taken from us. We were not allowed to have any knowledge of our language, not allowed to discuss our culture publicly. And so when we think about that, we didn't know where the ancestors were buried anymore. And So when you go on a site, that possibility exists. We realize that sometimes there are areas where there are villages and sites that we say, okay, more than likely they're there. But then there are projects like working on a sewer project where the cities decide to put new sewer pipes, and they pick out the sewer pipes that are leaking, take out the manholes, and then they need to put new ones in, and they go down 6 inches more than they had gone previously. So they believe because they made a disturbance previously, they knew this was an archaeological site. And they didn't call in a monitor. They didn't call in the tribes. They figured, oh, well, we've already found all the ancestors that are there. So then they go down 6 inches and they find 2 more ancestors. They found a young man, 20 years old, and a baby that was a newborn. And these were very sacred and rich burials. The young man was buried with the coyote, buried with a seal, or an otter, I should say, and plenty of shells. The baby had all kinds of beads, and it was just beautiful. But the city didn't want to take them out. I was assigned as the most likely descendant by the Native American Heritage Commission. And so I went in the first day, one day, went in, pulled up, I said, we want to take them out. We're not going to leave our ancestors under a sewer pipe. I mean, who would? A leaking sewer pipe. Would you leave your family member there? No. So I told them, there was the lawyer, the city manager, and I said, we want to take them out and we would like you to give us a place to rebury that will be protected. They said no. I said, you want them out? You take them? We're not giving you anything. I said, no, look, it says that you need to come to a fair agreement with us. We need to discuss this. This is legal mitigation. They said no. I said, close it down. We're not coming to an agreement. We closed down the project. I brought in the Native Heritage Commission and worked with the city. A year later almost, they called up and said, okay, what can we do to get this done? Give us a place to rebury the ancestors that they can be protected. So they agreed, and the only reason they agreed is because, you know those metal sheets that go across when they dig, pull up the highway, the road, and they put these big sheets so when you're driving over them you don't fall in the opening? Those sheets were costing thousands of dollars. So 1 year of paying monthly charges, they decided, okay, so what they did, there's an old cemetery there that was a burial ground. They gave us a spot there, that a 10 by 10 spot to bury all ancestors found within that city. So that was a first. We had a burial and we buried the ancestors. So that's the kind of fight. And it is stressful, very stressful, because you don't know what's going to happen. And yet you're fighting, and you don't want to lose your ancestors. You know, we want to make sure that they're protected. And even though I stop, I still worry that they're never going to let me have them. They're never going to let us rebury them. Because even though I might be the MLD, I work with my council so that we can all together do the burials. and invite all of our tribal members that want to attend.
When I hear your stories, I can't help but think of the line in the play where Machkas, calls out Atsia for visiting the Esalen Institute. And Atsia says, yes, and that's how I learn how they do what they do. And you, by engaging in these worlds of politics and Matshaipa capitalism, have learned how they do what they do, and you've learned how to fight back powerfully. Speaking of the play, Chago, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? You come from a very interesting theatrical background that mixes activism and artistry, and just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then how did you meet Louise, and how did this project come to be?
The whole style, that whole fourth grade mission history project, that's all rooted in the Chicano theater aesthetic, the style that was formulated like in the mid 60s on the front lines of the farm worker struggle with Cesar Chavez and the UFW, founded by our maestro Luis Valdez, based out of San Juan Bautista, El Teatro Campesino. And, it was the maestro's, his edict that, his marching order that if people can't go to the theater, the theater's got to go to the people. And this has been that, the theater, this play, this story, it's since 2014 when we connected, the way we connected, how it's connected, all is based on the story of that Esalen opera, that one, right? There was a project going on in San Francisco. They were going to compose. They had claimed the story of the Lariat, a story of a love triangle between the padre and a mestizo and an Esalen woman. They were going to make an opera out of it. Who were they going to go for? Because they wanted it to be an Esalen. Who were they going to go to? They were going to go to Louise. And because of her work, her dedication, her commitment, her tireless work around saving the language, they were able to locate her, right? They identified with her, and then they were already in process. From what I remember, how I remember, it was this whole situation where a lot of cultural missteps, a lot of abuse, like cultural abuse, I guess you could say, like privilege, just taking advantage of this woman who was a composer of this opera, and her just, this attitude of how, that white supremacist attitude that she couldn't be questioned, and ultimately there were all these little things that happened, but the deal breaker was the fact that they were gonna do it in San Francisco, not in Esalen country. So I happen to know the producer of that project because I was on another project. It was, something kind of related, but we can talk about that later. And I asked him about, because I had heard, I go, hey, oh wow, it's about the Esalen? Oh wow, I'm from there. I'm from Salinas. I'm from, that region, that land. And I went to the producer, go, hey, is there anything I could do? I could help. He's all, do you sing opera? No. He's all, well, we don't need you. I'm all right, cool. I see him later on. I'm like, hey, so how's the opera going, guy? And he's like, oh, it's terrible. Oh my goodness. It's like there's a falling out. There's been a falling out between the tribal chairwoman and the composer, the opera composer. And I was like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's all, I need like a synopsis. I need to draw up a new synopsis. We need to do this. We need to like save face. We need to do something, right? I was like, okay, well, what do you I got some time on my hands. And he was like, all right. He connected us. I happened to be living in San Jose, is where Louise and her husband Ernie live in San Jose. And so just actually pretty much around kind of the same neighborhood, and we connected, and that was, from that point, it was like within less than a year, we were able to set up a first draft of this play and share it at Cal State Monterey Bay. And the professor that we mentioned actually went to the play. You know, there were, yeah. He did, you know, it's this story, the world, the universe of our indigenous communities, you know, is really deep and is really layered. And that was throughout this journey of putting this together. You know, I'm still learning. We were still writing the script, even up to, you know, it was supposed to be done about a month ago or something, right? But, you know, we were still we're still working on it. It's been a work in progress.
Yeah,
So,
just so you all know, we worked on this, you've been working on this play since 2015. 14, 15 together. Ross Frank, who's the associate professor in our ethnic studies department, was really key to bringing this project here to UC San Diego and bringing on myself and my colleague Michelle Wynn, who's not here today, but who helped me a lot to help facilitate this production. And we spent about a month on Zoom rehearsing with the actors, doing a lot of development on the script. But those actors just got here on Monday in San Diego. So in terms of staging this production, we've only had a week to really put it on its feet. But I think a lot of that work on Zoom was really helpful. Unlike The Lariat, which I think was focused on reinscribing you know, images of Esalen as being something in the past, images of violence. This play really focuses on the Esalen being here today, the traditions living on proudly, stories of resistance and resilience. How did you guys collaborate on that story together? You know, Chago, you are not Esalen, so how did you work together to listen to Louisa's stories? How did you weave fact and fiction but stay accurate?
Just identifying with my own indigeneity, being Mexican, Chichimeca descent, even from the region that we're from, the central Mexico, of Zacatecas, you know, and understanding that our people's sense of direction is from north to south, south to north. You know, it's with nature, right? With all of the migrating species of this continent. We're not east to west. We're not Westerners, you know. So having that consciousness, you know, and bringing that to, you know, when meeting Luis for the first time, it was like an understanding that I'm born and raised in Salinas, you know. Salinas is an agricultural community, you know. That's the livelihood. That's what brought my father and a lot of our fathers, braceros, a lot of farm workers, to the valley. So in a lot of ways, it's like, wow, here's this opportunity to recognize and work with the peoples of this land, this same land that has sustained an agricultural industry for over 100 years, right? As an industry, right? And so it's, you know, it feels like it's like, you know, for all of these folks to be able to make a living off of that, or make a survival living off of farm worker wages. You know, now to get to this point where being a child of a farm worker, you know, having this, you know, having at least like a knowledge and understanding, and then finally be able to be in the same room with this woman, right? It was, you know, I didn't realize it's been a journey for me, you know, to finally get to this place, to get to the place to start the conversation. So yeah, and to learn the story, to begin that.
And you've used so powerfully, the Esalen language is featured so powerfully in the play, and it's so powerful to hear it on stage. Louise, you've done so much work to reclaim that language. Can you tell us about that process? You know, the Blind Man song, for example, the story of the Blind Man song, and what you learned from rediscovering that song.
In 2006, I decided that I was going to go to a project at University of Berkeley. It's called the Breath of Life program, and it's for California and Indians without speakers. And what you do is you go up and stay in the dorm, stay there a week when students are gone, and you have access to all research papers. So we find where our tribal notes are, and people from our area, my opinion, some of our people are confused on who they are, okay? Because it is believed by many that we are Esalen, and we were throughout Monterey County and sometimes reached even farther north. But I won't claim farther north, I'll claim Monterey County, okay? I'll make some adjustments. So, they will say, well, they're Costanoan, they're Rumsen. What I learned was Rumsen is a Costanoan language. Okay, it's a language identified by a linguist said, oh, you're Rumsen. It's not who the people are. It's the name of that language that had a combination. So when I decided that I was going to learn a language, I wanted to go with the original language. And Leanne Hinton up at Berkeley said no one had ever asked to speak Esalen. So the Esalen expert was David Shaw. So they brought him in, and they told me, we want to make sure you're able to work with him because he's pretty eccentric. And I said, oh gosh, here I go. So I before I got up there, I took time. Any document I could find on the internet that he did, any paper he wrote, I read, I kept notes, I set up everything. I made a dictionary of the words that were recorded by, whether it was Kroeber, Harrington, Kennard, La Perouse. So I have all that documentation. And then we went up there, and when I went up there, the first thing I did was culture. This is a white man from Wyoming, cowboy. And I said, okay, how am I going to work with this man? Because I know how pushy I am. So I said, the first thing I did was make a gift. I made a oak leaf out of abalone shell. And I gave him, when he came in, first thing I said was, welcome, I'm ready to learn, and I gave him the gift. And even the people in the rest of the classes said they had never given a linguist a gift. They had never seen that culture come into learning. And he told me, how did I know that he calls himself Oak? He calls himself Haas in Esalen. Because I gave him the oak leaf. And that was it. Had him here. We studied, people were going out and partying at night, and I was over here sitting with him studying. They said, give us 2 words. We gave 2 sentences. They said, give us 2 sentences. We gave him a conversation, back and forth. They said, go write a couple of sentences. That was our homework every night. We came up with translating our prayer back. They asked him, David, did you ever think you would be teaching Esalen? He said, no, I thought they were all gone. So that's what people think of us. And realizing that I had to do the work. And I wasn't chair at that time. I wasn't chair, so I had the time to do it. And so he came and stood at the house with us. And every word that I had, I knew words that he didn't even know. he said we didn't have a word for beautiful. I said, yeah, we do. It's Loliki. Then we sat, and so he had my list of words, and he'd cross it out. He'd say, show me where you found it. And I'd go get my paper and prove it to him. He said, you don't have a word for food. I said, well, yes, we do. Hamakshu. Go get the paper. I still have those lists. I saved those lists where he lined off each word, and I proved that we had those words that he didn't know. And so I became to where I loved the language. To me, it's very Polynesian. Manalenipa, Ewa Mitano. These words are forever, Mislaya Yakolo, very much love. They all have that little ring to it that just makes your heart open. So yeah, I love the language, and I could go on, and it's hard to teach because it's Spanish vowels into our language. So all these people, they might have been white making notes, but they use Spanish vowels. So we have to, and then one of the things that David did was remove all the linguistic marks. And so, and Jen's explaining the second syllable is where you put your accent. He removed just the C with the hacha and put CH, which is replaced by an X, because we had the X there instead of the CH. And so there was a lot of things I learned from him, and he definitely is the expert. He degree in music. He's fluent in about 7 native languages. And so he is eccentric, but he's knowledgeable, genius.
And when you're not able to find a word, you have been able to create new words based on the language, the word for thank you, for example, right?
Right. Well, one of the things I took time was asking other tribes, other individuals who are also learning the language. I said, how do you say thank you? What does thank you mean? It's not so much the words, it's what does it mean? Okay, so most of the people I've talked to said it relates to the heart. When you talk to someone and you say thank you, you're feeling good in your heart. So I find our words, ni or niche, is my. Masiane, heart. Alpa, feels, saleki. Ni masiane alpa saleki. Say it fast. Make it one word. And there's our new word. And the same thing with when we need to fit tears. We didn't have a word for tears, but we had a word for cry. So that was shawa. And what are tears if they're not water? So shawa asana, there's our tears. So you really have to look up. You don't have a lot of words. People tell me, how do you can't write all these things because we didn't have the words. No linguist wrote these words. Right. Because we're coming up with them. Because I'm sitting there thinking, I look at the dictionary and I say, what does the English word mean? You have to go deep into the meaning, review all the meanings, and then look for the word that's comparable. So that's how I work with the language that come up, that we have so many words, because David has taught me, add A-N to the beginning and K-E to the end, and you reverse the meaning of the words. And we have a subject, object, verb. So, selakiatsanut. verb at the end, newt, have. So that's the way our language goes. So, I mean, I could go on with language. So go next one.
That's it's such powerful and necessary work. And not only are you able to make up new words, but new stories and new songs and new poems like the ones featured in this beautiful play that you wrote together. I'd like to open up to the audience if anyone has any questions for Louise and Chago.
Let me tell you about the blind man's story.
Yeah.
You're not going to. Okay. The blind man's story, they sang, Pina Wate no Totek, okay? Kroger wrote down in notebook number 26 that there was a blind man, there was a woman who loved him because he played the flute so beautiful. That's it. Okay, so what do we know by that? So if I'm going to write this story, we know that he's blind, right? We know that he played the flute. So we know that happened in our people's, our ancestors' time. We know that there was a beautiful woman who loved him. We know that she sang to him, Pina Wate no Tota. What were those words? Those words were, there's the meat. That's the words to that song, that whole song. There's the meat. So when I'm looking at that story, that there's a man, there's a flute, there's the woman, she's beautiful, she loves his music. There's a blind man. He's never going to get married. He's never going to be happy because he's blind. Because he can't provide for a family. He can't go hunting. He can't do much because he's blind. In those days, remember the days of our ancestors, of wild animals and having to provide the food. So, this woman loves him so much, and she wants to get married to him, but he won't marry her because he's blind. He can't provide food. So she takes those words. She takes him hunting. She points him in the direction of the meat. And she sings, Pina Wate no Tote, Pina Wate no Tote. He shoots it. He kills the animal. He can provide for a family. They get married. He plays the flute. Our people hear that when they're singing, when you hear her singing, you don't go hunting. You stay away because she's pointing. So so that's what I see in these few words that Kroger wrote. I see the whole story. And so that's what we wrote, the whole story.
And thank you for sharing that story with us today. It means so much. Please tell all your friends.
We got a question.
Yeah.
John.
The symbolism in the Well, I think one thing that was really important to us with the creation story, first of all, is the idea of, Chago's honored a worldview where, temporality is not necessarily, time is not necessarily linear. The ancestors are still with us. This creation story is still, all those ancestors, the hummingbird, the coyote, they are still here. They are the ancestors. So the idea of circularity, the importance of water to the Esalen people, those sort of images that you're talking about, the sort of similarity of images at the beginning and end of the play, I think mostly that was about expressing that worldview, right? Expressing that the creation story is not something of the past. It is also a story of today and tomorrow and the future and forever?
The past is present.
Yep.
You know, we're not in linear time cycles. You know, I mean these were in conversations that I remember hearing. You know, our maestro Luis Valdez speak about, you know, this spherical structures. You know, to theater, to plays, to story. You know, we're always going to return back. I mean, you know, we're in this. You know. So that, yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, we're in that sphere. This is the, you know, the IYA, Esalen, remember, that's what it is. It's cyclical.
We got to bring our people back to our culture because it was taken from us. We have to make sure that our young people know who they are because we're not going to be here forever. Okay, and what we've learned, we've got to make sure that we share it. We've got to make sure that you know who we are. Politically, we need people to know who we are. Just to care about us again. Just to know that indigenous people are here, no matter from where. We're here. Okay, we know who we are, we know our homelands, we're learning our stories, we're bringing back culture. I know this, I lived in Salinas as a child. Roosevelt School, yes, I went to Roosevelt School. The nuns picked us up weekly and took the Indian kids. And these were in 55. Yes, I'm that old, yeah. So these things, he picked up, he heard and said, this is what's happening. We have to share it with you guys. We need you to know what was happening to us. That we could not say we were Indian because my grandfather used to say, don't say you're Indian because they're going to take you away. And that was the time of boarding schools. And we all know how many kids didn't come back. And so they didn't want us to say who we were. So it was forgotten. We knew we were Indian, but we didn't know anything else about it. If somebody asked you if you were Indian, say no, say you're Mexican. Because Mexicans were surviving more than the Indians. And you could ask either of our people here, they too had to grow up saying they were not Native. That was survival. And so now we're claiming it. We're saying, look, we know it, and we're going to claim it, and we want to teach our young people who they are so they can claim it and carry it on. So the spirit of Umanipsha, that was my daughter's spirit. She was 14 when she passed away of leukemia. Her last wish was, or said to me, was, Mom, who's going to make sure I'm never forgotten? I said, me. I will make sure nobody forgets you. Her nieces, her family, you know, they all know her. And this is the job. And he helped me to make sure. Yes, we worked with the National Marrow Donor Program. I did. Yes, we worked with the American Red Cross. Yes, we received the grants for doing the most in the nation to recruit minority donors to help save the lives of children. We raised more money. I traveled around the United States trying to save our children. I did that for 10 years. My husband and I did that, going to powwow, setting up booths, never being paid. We didn't want the money. We wanted to save the kids because my daughter went through chemotherapy with 10 kids, different kids, and all of them died because minority children don't have donor matches. And if we don't save them, nobody will. So the story comes in different form, but it's real. There's parts that they're based on. So yes, this is a story on my life with changes, with some differences, but he got that. He got that so that we can express it to you. And don't let me forget this guy, okay? I spoke last night and I spoke earlier. You know, when we talk about starting, the first director we had didn't want us to smile, didn't want anybody to show any kind of emotion, just a reading. The second one, wow, he brought to life. He brought it was beyond the reading. And now he saw it. He saw what we wanted. We wanted to bring it to life. And we got that. I think that we're not done yet. We know there's more. I have a lot more stories for him. But
And I want to, and if it's okay right now, just while we're here, we're recognizing Jesse because he didn't ask for he didn't ask for this. It was like we asked it. I mean, we came to this moment where it was like, hey, after it being on Zoom this whole time, we needed to, you know, we were in need, and you know, the UC San Diego Theater Arts Department and Ethnic Studies Department stepped up. Jesse, you're the captain. You drove us here. You got us here. We thank you. We're very, very, very grateful for you, for your courage. You took this on. You took us on all the way from Salinas, you know, Sacramento, Sacktown. I know where Melissa's at, right? The Bay Area. So we're really, really grateful for you. I know there's only you here, right? But Michelle's not here, and I know, but Shelby is here. Is Shelby here? Shelby? Okay, so this is for you, Shelby, Michelle, and Ross. So we're really grateful, and we want to just present you with these bouquets of flowers and roses, and just let me give you a hug, man. So thank you so much. Yes.
Time for dinner. Thank you. It's been the honor, blessing of my life to work with you both, Louise, under your guidance, your trust, you know, in me to help you tell this story has meant the world to me, and to tell this story has meant the world to me. This is a powerful story. It is an important story for, as you have said to us, not just the Esalen, but for all of us. If we are going to save this planet, we need to start listening, respecting, and giving the land back to the original caretakers of this land. So please, please tell your friends all about the play. Tell them to come see us tonight at 6:30 p.m. Thank you so much. Thank you both, and thank you all for receiving this story today.
Jesse, here.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.